Hi guys, sure you can see me, I can't see you, but for lack of a better word, nice to see you again. Oh, sorry. Always nice to see you, even though I can't see you. Nice to communicate. Before I start with the sabotaging of Eskom, or ex-dom, whichever one you prefer. Ex-useless, I think. I'm sure a lot of you have also realized that you'll get for example, where Vodacom asks you to sign into the network, yet F all works. MTN's got the same problem, Cell C, you name it, all the networks. Telkom as well. I'm not going to read the entire thing. Battery theft at base stations combined with insufficient charging times due to frequent load shedding sessions can cause mobile network towers to lose their power, resulting in little or no cellular connectivity. This just frustrates people. Fixed line connections go down due to power cuts. While mobile towers draw power from the electricity grid, obviously, all mobile network operators have contingencies for when their cellular base stations lose power. So the problem there is that they obviously charge their batteries, but with the load shedding, and I mean you can imagine how much power is being drawn out of those batteries when there's load shedding, and the batteries at the cell phone towers clearly don't have enough time to recharge. So in my personal view, I'm not a qualified electrician, but I would say that those batteries are probably stuffed by now, because whether it's high cycle, deep cycle, I don't care what it is, calcium, silver, a battery, once you drop down a certain limit, and it's also only got the specific amount of cycles, so the batteries are doomed, I'm pretty sure. But that'll surely be revealed at a later stage or later point in time. So that's why, depending on, you might be sitting at home and your cell phone works or do not work, signal reception wise, and yet you move down to the next block and boom, magic, cell phone works again, network works again. So that's it. So as I'm normally very famous or infamous for digressing, I've managed to get hold of a few photos of what it looks like when, or with the sabotaging of Eskom's power lines, etc. But I was lucky enough to get a snippet where they actually interviewed Andre de Ruyter. So I'm just going to play that for you. I think that's more than sufficient. He explains it to the T, which is way better than I will ever be able to explain it to you. I mean, he's the guy in charge of Eskom, or ex-Dom. So, yeah, there's just one thing I'd like to share with you, and I'm going to, unfortunately, have to quickly put the webcam off and put that on there. Something very interesting. It's a comment on Facebook from Etienne Rousseau, who, no, I have no idea who Etienne Rousseau is, but in South Africa, treason remains a common law offence. The crime of high treason is defined as any conduct or any conduct unlawfully committed by a person sorry, but it's just extremely small for me here. To state with the intention of overthrowing the government of the Republic, coercing the government by violence into any action or inaction. Oh, God, well, I was banned off YouTube because I mentioned the Red Berets, but how's that coercing the government by violence into any action or inaction? Double standards, eh? YouTube? Double standards. Pathetic. No more to say about that. Violating, threatening, or endangering the existence, the independence, or security of the Republic. Changing the constitutional structure of the Republic. Now, I ask you, people are getting caught, some, sadly not all, but some are being caught. Clearly not enough. But what is Eskom going to do? Because sabotaging seems to be like, oh well, part of life in South Africa, you know, we just fix it up again. Eskom owes something like 400 billion. Yeah. 480, I'm sure, but almost 500 billion rand. Now they want DSTV to put a, let's call it a levy on, so that 20 rand does not sound like a lot, but how many subscribers does DSTV have? So if you have DSTV, do not be surprised if you end up with a 20 rand levy. It's confirmed news. Go read it up. So Eskom is in dire straits. They are desperate. I wish I could. I'm sort of on the fence here because Andre de Ruyter said that he'll sort it out, but so did Ramaphosa. Now, I mean, Andre de Ruyter can also do so much. He can only do so much. And I'm not going to start with a conspiracy theory, but one way to get rid of a person is by keep on sabotaging. And then eventually he'll be replaced with someone that is not supposed to occupy the job. Just saying. Hashtag just saying. So without further ado, less from me, more from the guy concerned. Yeah, it's a very short, well, call it a podcast if you wish, more like an update on the Eskom sabotaging. So please enjoy.
I thought of sharing with the audience today from the incident that occurred on the main distribution lines feeding electricity to the coal conveyor belts at Letabo Power Station. You will recall that yesterday we indicated that at 6 p.m. on Wednesday night, a tower collapsed onto the second distribution line. This line then also tripped, so the double redundancy was eliminated. The line is a high capacity line for a distribution line. It's 88 kV line, and the stays that were cut are galvanized steel rods, 24 millimeters in diameter. So these are very sturdy rods. The perpetrators of this cut all 8 stays. There is no sign of corrosion, no sign of metal fatigue. There was no shearing of these stays, and there's.
Sorry, yeah, I've actually managed to download a few of the pictures of what it looks like, but after watching Mr. de Ruyter's interview, I think it's absolutely brilliant because he goes through the exact photos that I managed to download and explains like it was galvanized, the diameter of those galvanized rods. It's crazy. You have to listen to this. And this guy is legendary. He is not stupid. That's for sure. That's a fact.
Clear evidence that there was some cutting instrument involved, whether that is a hacksaw or whether it is an angle grinder that we will determine. But what further arouses suspicion that this was a deliberate act of sabotage is that nothing was stolen from the site. So the stays were cut, the tower was pushed over onto the other line, but nothing was stolen. So this is not an economic crime. This was clearly now an act of sabotage, and I think we can call it as such. So without further ado, let me share what I've got in terms of pictures. So colleagues, you can clearly see here that it's a so-called H-frame tower. There are the cable stays that were cut. What is interesting is that this toppled tower fell uphill, highly unusual. If we move on, there you can see the 24mm.
Undoubtedly not a hacksaw. That is an angle grinder. 100% guaranteed.
Galvanized steel rod that was cut. You can see the score marks there from the cutting instrument. You can also see the clean edge around the rod makes it very apparent that this was not metal fatigue. There's no evidence of corrosion of any sort. And it's quite clear that from the clean cut that this is not shearing caused by any torsion or distress caused on this steel rod. So clearly cut rather than any other cause. Another one cut right down at ground level. You can see again from the fact that it is shiny how recent this is. So this is not an old incident. This is very new. The steel hasn't had any opportunity to corrode, show any rust. And then here as well, you can clearly see the marks on the steel suggesting cutting. Now, the consequences of this happening are of course quite significant. This means that if we had lost power supply to those conveyor belts feeding coal to Letabo, we would have run out of coal at the power station after 6 hours. That is the capacity of the bunkers at the power station. This would then have caused us to lose our most reliable unit at this point in time, a loss of about 3,600 megawatts, and would have put us into much worse than stage 4 load shedding, probably stage 6 load shedding, through a deliberate act of sabotage. And you will note that I am now calling this for what it is. For some time we have had suspicious incidents, but I think this is the clearest indication that we have had to date that there are individuals out there who seek to really damage the economy by causing very significant and substantial load shedding. We have reported the matter to the Hawks. The Hawks are assisting us in investigation. Supply of electricity has in the interim been restored. We were fortunate, again, to stress that our colleagues from distribution were exceptionally nimble and innovative in order to find a third redundant supply with some very hard work on their side. So my thanks to those Eskom colleagues for coming to the rescue. And we therefore averted a really severe incident at Letabo.
Okay, I don't know what more to say about that. It's just sad and pathetic. I can't what exactly is the point of sabotage? Because at the end of the day, we all sit with electricity, and it affects more than just one area. If you give me a second, I will quickly... I'd like to show you something here. I'm just gonna call it load shedding. Scale. Load shedding scale. So you can have an idea of what just make it smaller. Yeah, that's fine like that. So in 2007, there was only load shedding of 176 megawatt. In 2021, it's gone up to 1,914. So you can clearly see there that things are getting out of control. And that's putting it mildly. So, and that's energy shed. It's not like you can recuperate that. It's lost. So, yeah. Crazy. Crazy. That's all I can say. Crazy. I'm gonna leave that picture on for you for a while. So you can just have a look there. So yeah, we nearly were forced into stage 6. That is a bit better. It's just there. That's rough. That's hectic. So thanks, Mr. Writer. You saved, or the writer, you saved me a lot of work by individually adding all the pictures to OBS, and I would not have been able to do a better explanation of that. He's the fundi on that, so yeah. Anyway, that is about it. So yeah, I think we're stuck in a country where people are just whatever, and let's see how much issues we can cause. And well, sabotage means trying to sink a country or organization. So yeah, Eskom is at fault with a lot of things, but then again, these kind of things are beyond their control. So where's the police? Can they not put an alarm system or something that triggers off when someone's there? One question I would like to ask is, why are those, I think you said H-frame stands, I could probably ask the question, why weren't they closed? But then again, you know, if you've got the power tools, then I'm sure the fencing would have just been cut open and we would have gotten in and did what we wanted to do. So I don't know what the solution is. I don't think there isn't a solution, actually, to be honest with you. But they need to catch these perpetrators and, well, pretty much like the guy from YouTube, what was his name? Etienne Rousseau. It's treason. It's nothing else but treason, which carries a hefty jail sentence to start off with. So start charging these guys with treason and make an example out of them. Otherwise, they would also eventually end up in Parliament and get promotions. So that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please, on your right, yeah, my left, but your right, uh, please donate. I would really appreciate that. Every bit helps. Yes, I realize you are probably getting tired of hearing the same speech or schlep every single podcast, but a lot of research, a lot of effort, and a lot of time goes on behind the scenes to get this all set up for a podcast. It's getting towards Christmas time as well, so let's make this podcast into one of the biggest, at least next year. I can't do it without any of you. Uh, like, subscribe, share, donate, and I will have plenty and plenty of other big guests on next year as well. But it can only happen with your support. So that's for me. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend.